Wait, but by the way, you've been like, oh, I think you're the bigger Potter fan. I think you're the bigger Disney fan.
Oh.
I think you're the bigger. So, like, what? What about me over here?
Blake Lively isn't new to Hollywood headlines, but nobody expected her name to explode alongside Saturday Night Live in a high-stakes legal drama. One moment, she was the warm, approachable star known for effortless style and family-centric charm. The next, she appeared to be locked in a tense showdown with one of TV's most iconic comedy institutions. Rumors swirled of an $80 million lawsuit, fraught relationships, and a chain reaction that began with a single offhand joke. Most onlookers thought they understood Blake's story, but this scandal suggests there's far more beneath the surface than anyone realized. Strap in, because this roller coaster of allegations, betrayals, and surprising alliances isn't slowing down anytime soon. It all began in what should have been a typical Saturday night broadcast. Audiences tuned in for their usual dose of sketches, celebrity appearances, and tongue-in-cheek headlines. Then, amid the laughter, something startling happened. A remark that landed so heavily it seemed to echo beyond the stage. SNL cast member Colin Jost delivered a joke referencing Blake Lively and her rumored feud with another celebrity. The audience initially chuckled, but there was a sharp undercurrent of discomfort in the air. Everyone sensed this wasn't just a random comedic jab. Almost immediately, social media lit up. Clips of that single line were shared millions of times, plastered across every corner of the internet with captions like Blake's worst nightmare and SNL goes too far. Overnight, it became the moment everyone was dissecting. People wondered aloud, had the show stepped over a line? Was this an orchestrated dig? Some fans defended SNL's brand of boundary-pushing comedy, while others insisted that personal lives should remain off-limits. In that split second, an unassuming punchline shattered carefully built images, and the aftershocks were impossible to ignore. Before viewers could fully absorb what happened on air, the story took another turn. Whispers circulated that Justin Baldoni, best known for his work in heartfelt TV dramas, played an unexpected role in this whole fiasco. Old rumors of tension between him and Blake popped up, fueling an already overheated narrative. The talk was that Justin once expressed interest in collaborating with her again, only to be met with alleged indifference or even pushback. Adding to the drama, some insisted Justin and Blake's relationship had ended on a sour note a few years back, though nobody had previously confirmed it. It didn't help that SNL's pointed joke tied back to Justin's supposed desire to reunite on a project with Blake. Suddenly, he was dragged into a spotlight he probably hadn't asked for. Fans on Twitter debated whether Justin truly had deep-seated issues with Blake, or if he was just thrown into the crossfire by a careless comedy sketch. Others speculated that Justin himself might have stoked these rumors to generate publicity. Either way, the public latched onto this extra layer of complexity, turning a single on-air comment into a tangled scandal involving multiple A-listers. While SNL's joke was the spark, it quickly became clear that Ryan Reynolds, Blake's partner and one of Hollywood's most beloved comedic stars, may have fanned the flames. Ryan's appearance on the show, meant to be a carefree cameo, took on a life of its own. During a moment that should have been lighthearted banter, he made an offhand quip about how he was doing great, unless you know something I don't, which only fed into the swirling rumors. People interpreted it as a veiled admission that trouble was brewing under the surface. Ryan's brand has long been built on humor that dances on the edge of self-deprecation. Viewers typically eat it up, associating him with quick wit and a refusal to take himself too seriously. But in the context of a possible multi-million-dollar lawsuit and a swirling rumor mill, that trademark joke style struck some as misguided. Instead of diffusing tension, it felt like he was making light of a crisis that was impacting not just him, but his wife's reputation. It didn't help that fans soon uncovered older interviews in which Ryan casually shared stories that, when re-examined now, seemed out of sync with the serious accusations Blake was making. His cameo was replayed countless times online, often paired with commentary suggesting he either didn't grasp the weight of the situation or was cynically leaning on humor to hide deeper issues. Whereas before, the public would have laughed along. This time, they questioned every gesture, every smile. Was he truly caught off guard? Or was this all part of a larger orchestrated move to downplay Blake's legal battle? Once the scandal fully erupted, Blake Lively wasn't content to rely on your run-of-the-mill crisis management. In a move that left the industry buzzing, she reportedly hired Nick Shapiro, a figure rumored to have intelligence-level experience, for a specialized form of PR warfare. This wasn't just about drafting nice press statements or coordinating friendly paparazzi shots. Instead, it was rumored to be a comprehensive media strategy more akin to a political campaign than a standard Hollywood shuffle. Suddenly, glowing articles about Blake's lawsuit began popping up with eye-catching headlines like Blake's legal triumph or Judge backs Lively. But skeptics noticed a disconnect. When they dug into actual court documents, the outcome seemed far less definitive. Certain motions were denied, and Blake's requests often appeared restricted. Yet the public-facing narrative was painting her as a conqueror at every turn. Fans who once admired Blake's seemingly authentic persona now found themselves torn. Some argued she had every right to defend her reputation using whatever means necessary. After all, negative press can do real damage. Others saw this as evidence of hypocrisy, especially when they recalled how Blake once criticized another celebrity for allegedly using aggressive PR tactics to spin a story. The optics of hiring someone rumored to have intelligence ties gave the impression that Blake was pulling out all the stops to control the narrative, leading many to wonder if there was more to hide than anyone initially realized. In the midst of Blake's legal fight, an unexpected angle rose to prominence: the breastfeeding controversy. At first, it seemed like a peripheral issue, just another odd piece of gossip. Blake had reportedly accused a man, James Heath, of making her uncomfortable by staring while she was nursing. She framed it as a violation, pointing to how it symbolized deeper disrespect toward women that might have gone unchallenged if not for an older interview clip of Ryan. In it, he was laughing as he recounted a moment when he found himself in a similar scenario, admitting he couldn't look away. It was a comedic anecdote at the time, but once viewers compared it to Blake's allegations, the narrative took a sharp turn. If a stranger's fleeting glance at Blake constituted a serious breach, how did Ryan's prolonged staring fit into their personal code of conduct? The apparent double standard struck a nerve with the public. Questions of authenticity started snowballing. Critics said it was unfair for Blake to blast someone for an awkward glance, while Ryan openly joked about basically doing the same thing. Supporters pushed back, arguing that context matters and that comedic retellings don't always reflect true intent. But the damage was done. The very group of fans who had once applauded Blake for championing women's privacy and respect began to question the sincerity of her message. The turning point was swift and jarring. In the early days of the scandal, many casual observers sided with Blake, feeling she was the victim of SNL's careless potshot. But as more details emerged, Justin Baldoni's rumored history with Blake, Ryan's comedic cameo, the intelligence-level PR strategy, and the breastfeeding contradiction, sympathy wavered. All at once, the internet felt saturated with memes pointing out inconsistencies, while hashtags took shots at Blake's lawsuit mania. Public forums, once filled with fans praising her fashion sense and charitable endeavors, turned into heated battlegrounds. Some participants insisted that Blake was justified in using every tool at her disposal to protect her name. Others accused her of stirring needless drama and weaponizing PR in a way that felt manipulative. High-profile friends were conspicuously quiet, rarely rushing to her defense when pressed by reporters. The sense of a massive tide turning was palpable. Entertainment critics, who typically approach controversies with caution, published op-eds questioning the motivations behind Blake's choices. Was she genuinely fighting a legitimate grievance, or was this a calculated move to maintain relevance? Suddenly, her once untouchable image appeared riddled with cracks. It's no secret that in Hollywood, reputations can soar or sink overnight. Blake and Ryan have been regarded as a golden couple, fun-loving, entrepreneurial, and seemingly free of major scandals. But talk in the industry shifted rapidly. Behind closed doors, producers and casting directors grew cautious. Projects that once aimed to capitalize on Blake's affable charm were said to be under review. Rumors circulated of recasting, or at least reconfiguring schedules, just in case this legal maelstrom worsened. Several brand endorsements that Blake had headlined for years went conspicuously quiet, offering no official statements either in support or condemnation. Meanwhile, colleagues who'd worked with her in the past sidestepped questions, giving neutral, "it's complicated" comments. It was the kind of subtle distancing that can speak volumes in an industry built on image. Ryan wasn't immune to the fallout either. Though he tried to maintain an easygoing public front, his wisecracks about the situation started feeling out of place. Online, fans debated whether his comedic persona was now overshadowing or trivializing serious accusations. Even upcoming film promotions faced the awkward challenge of balancing his trademark humor with the swirl of controversies that refused to die down. By this point, it was no longer just a simple matter of Blake Lively sues SNL. The lawsuit itself became one piece of a much broader puzzle. Conversation turned to deeper themes: how celebrities spin personal crises, how much manipulation goes on behind the scenes, and whether the public's trust can ever be fully restored once cracks appear. People who had admired Blake for her authenticity felt betrayed. Others saw her as a savvy businesswoman doing what it took to protect her brand. At the same time, some insisted SNL should bear more accountability. The sketch comedy show has a long history of edgy jokes, but where exactly is the line? Is it fair to reduce serious personal matters into punchlines for a late-night crowd? Or does comedic commentary serve as a valid form of criticism? Those questions ignited broader debates about free speech, creative liberties, and the responsibility comedic platforms have when tackling sensitive subjects. Justin Baldoni, arguably the least expected participant in this mess, ended up inadvertently fueling the conversation. Many supporters lauded him as a decent guy caught in the storm, but a few suspected he might be leveraging the fiasco to boost his own profile. The truth was murky, and the audience was left to sift through contradictory accounts, searching for hints of authenticity amidst a flood of sensational headlines. In a cultural landscape saturated by scandals, the Blake Lively versus SNL saga stands out for its sheer complexity. What began as a single joke spiraled into lawsuits, PR strategies bordering on espionage, conflicting moral standards, and a public that found itself increasingly disillusioned. One moment, we were watching a lighthearted comedy show. The next, we were neck-deep in a conversation about personal boundaries, brand manipulation, and the lengths celebrities will go to preserve their shine. Maybe this entire saga is a stark reminder that in the fame game, nothing is ever as simple as it appears. We see a polished exterior, red carpet smiles, philanthropic efforts, quick-witted social media posts, only to discover that beneath the curated facade, there can be turf wars, intelligence-level spin, and battles to keep skeletons locked firmly in the closet. As the dust settles, if it ever truly does, viewers are left asking, how much of what we see is calculated performance and how much is sincere? And in a world where a single offhand joke can set off a legal and reputational earthquake, do we risk losing any genuine spark in the relentless pursuit of a perfect public image? One thing is certain: Blake Lively's unexpected clash with Saturday Night Live has exposed a fault line in Hollywood's glossy veneer. Whether this ordeal ends with personal redemption, professional ruin, or some uneasy compromise remains unknown. But the saga has already left an indelible mark, prompting each of us to look beyond the catchy headlines and wonder what fresh controversies might be brewing just behind the curtain.